Hey, Andrew here, and this is a video on different positions of the major scale. And the goal of this video is to help you unlock the fretboard and be able to play the guitar up and down the entire neck with the major scale in all the different keys. So what I want to start with is looking at 3 different patterns of the major scale. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out here at the 2nd fret through the 5th fret. And for all of these patterns, there's 3 patterns I want to show you. And for each one, the index finger is going to be on this 2nd fret, all of the strings, the middle finger on the 3rd fret, ring finger on the 4th fret, pinky on the 5th fret, and later on you'll learn how to move these patterns up and down the neck. So the first pattern of the major scale that I like to do, and I'm going to tell you, like I said, all those fingers are going to remain dedicated to those frets. And we're going to start out with the middle finger on the 6th string, and we're going to do middle finger, pinky. On the 5th string, index, middle, pinky. On the 4th string, index, ring, pinky. Same on the 3rd string. On the 2nd string, middle, pinky, and on the 1st, index, middle. Now, one thing that's important is that the root of this is our first note. It's that middle finger. And when I say root, that means that whatever this note is, that's going to be the name of the scale. This note happens to be a G note, and therefore this is a G major scale. So that's the first pattern. And it's really important to memorize these patterns. So this is a video that you should probably come back to over and over if you're not very familiar with this. You won't master and learn and remember all this stuff one pass through of this video. So that's the first pattern with the root on the 6th string, middle finger. And now the second pattern, we're going to use the same frets. The second pattern I'm going to do index, middle, pinky, index, ring, pinky, index, ring, pinky, index, ring, and then index, middle, pinky, index, middle, pinky. And the root of this is on the 5th string where the pinky is. So here's what that scale would sound like. And if we wanted to keep going down below the root, that's the root, which means that that's the name of the scale. That happens to be a D note, so this is a D major scale. Now the last pattern, again in the same area, we're going to do index, ring, pinky. Same on the next string, index, ring, pinky. And here's the one place on all 3 of these patterns that we're going to go out of position. So we're going to go index, ring, and the pinky is going to stretch 1 fret further. And then we go back to the position and index, ring, and then on the bottom 2, index, middle, pinky, and index, ring, pinky. And the root is on the 6th string where the pinky is. So I really recommend that you memorize each one of those patterns. Now let me show you how it works. So if we go back to the first pattern that we did starting here, that's a G major scale. Now what if I want to go up the neck? Now what I want to do, I want to take that second pattern and I need to find a place on the second pattern where G is the pinky on the 5th string. Here's a G on the 5th string, so I can put my pinky there and then do that second pattern. I can start back on the 6th string. And you'll also notice on this first pattern, all of the strings have the pinky on the 5th fret. Another way to figure out where the second pattern is I can go from the first pattern where the pinky is on all the strings, and I can go up 2 frets and start there with the index finger. Now I can do the same thing to get to the third pattern. I can figure that out in 2 different ways. One is I can do the same thing. My pinky is here on the second pattern, and I can go 2 frets higher and start there with the index finger, and then I'll do that third pattern. Or we had said that on that third pattern, the root is where the pinky is on the 6th string. So we can find that's a G right there. So now we have the first pattern, which goes from the 2nd fret to the 5th. We have the second pattern, 7th fret to 10. We have the third pattern, 12 to 15. And if we look at the first pattern, we can do that an octave higher, which is here 14 to 17. And like we said, if we look where the pinky is here for the first pattern, we can repeat that up here. We can move 2 frets higher and start with the index finger. Now we have the second pattern. So now I've got all the way from the 2nd fret all the way up here to the last fret of my guitar, all on the G major scale. Now let's take a look at a different, so that was all G major. Let's take a look at D major. So what we need to do, we need to take that first pattern and we need to figure out where the root is, which is that middle finger. We need to find a D note on the 6th string. It's at the 10th fret. Now we can do that same pattern. And now it's D major. And so we can, that's the first pattern. We can go from where the pinky is on that first pattern 2 frets higher. We'll find the second pattern here. And since that's all the way up here starting at the 14th fret, we can do it an octave lower at the 2nd fret. You know, on guitar, 12 frets higher is an octave. Like open is E and 12th fret is E. And in this case, we have F sharp starting here on the 14th fret. If we go down to the 2nd fret, 12 frets lower, it's also F sharp. So we can do that pattern, second pattern here. And the third pattern, another thing about the third pattern is, so if we look at the first pattern, we've got our middle finger, D major, and we know that to do the third pattern, we're going to find that that D note on the 6th string and put our pinky there. So we can just do this. So that's a little bit. It takes a while to understand this and to learn how to put all of this together. But if you work at it, you will really learn how to move up and down the neck in different keys and be able to play leads up and down the neck. Have fun. See you soon.